What's our Bible story today?
Judges.
Samson. And there you go, Samson and Delilah. Yes, ma'am. Now, how did you know that? Did anybody look at the cover of their bulletin this morning? So, Miss Jane, you get to come up and claim a prize. Keep your bulletins closed. No cheating. No cheating. Where in the Bible, raise your hand, is this story found? Come on, Sharon, you said it earlier. It is from the book of Judges. Yes, ma'am, it is. How many wives or wife did Samson have? No. He had 7 braids, however. I'm more than 1 and less than 4. When you think you know the answer, raise your hand. Come on.
3.
No.
2.
Yes. Come on up, Mr. Neal. Claim your prize.
That wasn't any intelligence.
It's a platter. I got one. It's origami ducks. So that's what paper ducks look like. Jane will like it. You must have taken it. You took it. I have 1 pair left. The lady in Thailand, when I asked her about those Nebraska socks, she just couldn't believe I wanted so many of them. I tried to get a pair for all of you. I asked her for 80 pairs. She said, no, 80 baht. That was the cost. And my brother said, no. 80 baht. Yes. I ended up with 4 and we were happy. Okay, so I can't decide how to tell you this story. When you read this story, you have no idea, I think, how long it really is. Because it goes from chapter 13 all the way into 16. Because all we ever think of Samson and Delilah is Samson and Delilah. But there was so much more before Samson and Delilah. There was Samson's mommy and daddy. And mom and dad, mama couldn't have babies. And so they accepted that fact. And then an angel of the Lord came and said to mama, I'm going to give you somebody really special in your tummy. And you cannot drink any wine. You cannot drink anything that has been fermented. And you can only eat clean foods. Okay. How come? Because the person that's going to come out of your belly is going to be a person that God has already claimed. And so when this little boy of yours grows up, he can never drink wine or anything fermented, and he can never cut his hair. So mama ran out to the field and she said, Daddy, guess what? You're going to be a daddy. And he said, how can that be? And she said, an angel came and told me all these things. And so she went back home out of the fields, and Daddy got down on his knees and said, oh, good Lord, literally, oh, good Lord, you've given us a baby, and he's supposed to be special, but we don't know how to care for your special baby. Please send that person back, because they didn't realize it was an angel yet. So the next morning, the angel appeared again to Mama, and Mama ran out to the field with the angel and said, Daddy, look, the man is back. And Daddy said to the man, please tell us, how do we raise this very special person? And the angel said, like I told your wife, she cannot drink anything of wine. She cannot drink anything fermented. She must eat clean. And when your child is born, you must never let him drink of wine or fermented drink, and he can never cut his hair. Otherwise, you guys just raise him like you would raise anybody else. And Daddy said, oh golly, will you please stay with us until all this happens so we don't mess up? I'll make you a goat. And the man, as they presumed he was, said, no, do not cook for me, but I will stay while you make a sacrifice of the goat and of grain. So Daddy went to the sacrifice rock, and he did his goat thing, and he did his grain thing, and he lit the baby goat on fire. Little ears back there, I don't want to hurt. So in flames we have, and then the angel of the Lord ascended through the flames back to heaven. And that's when Mommy and Daddy said, oh my stars, we're going to die because we have seen the Lord. And as we know in the Old Testament, your eyes will not see the Lord lest you die. So Daddy's all freaking out. Oh my gosh, why did he tell us we were having a baby? Now he's going to kill us because we saw the Lord. And Mama said, take a chill pill, Dad. It's going to be okay. He wouldn't have told us to do this if he's going to kill us. And he wouldn't have given us a baby if he's going to kill us. So he's not going to kill us, so it'll be okay. And 9 months later, it was all okay. And they had a little boy, and they named him Samson. Very good. And Samson grew up not knowing for sure that he had special powers, so to speak, but he knew he was really strong, and he used that strength sometimes to be good and sometimes not to be so good. But Samson was brought to deliver the Israelites out of the captivity that they find themselves once again, because they've been naughty, to the Philistines. So Samson grows up, as boys tend to do, and he believes it's time to find himself a bride. So down into the Philistine country he goes, and he finds himself a beautiful woman, and he comes back home and he says, ooh, Mom and Dad, hey, I found myself my bride. Y'all need to come see her with me. And Mama and Daddy go, oh, honey, she's our enemy. Why on earth would you want to marry her? And Samson said, because I love her, Mom. And so off they go down to Timnath to see his bride, and they get married, and they have a feast for 7 days, which is the ritual. But on the way to go see his bride, a lion comes out of nowhere, and Samson, with his strength, easily kills the lion. Very good. Mom and Dad, for some reason, don't see that he just killed the lion. Don't ask me why or how. So they go down there and they meet her and they talk about the wedding and the feast for 7 days, and then they go back home because, you know, the bride's family has to do bridal things and whatever. And so now that Mom has met the wife, she doesn't come back. She stays there. So Dad and son go back to Timnath. They pass that same lion, and Samson looks into him, and who knows what happens in the lion? Yeah, see, I didn't know anything had happened. But here's what happens in the lion. There's a swarm of bees in the lion that have created honey. So Samson digs himself a big old scoop of honey. Yum. And he gets one for his daddy. And he gives it to his daddy, and Daddy eats it, and they're all happy, and off they go. Dad doesn't say, we're in the wilderness. Where on earth did you get honey? That's okay. It's God's story, not mine. And so down they go, and they have their feast, and they're married, and Daddy goes home, and Samson stays because he's with his bride. And so he says to the men of the village, I give you a riddle, and if you can answer me this riddle by the end of the banquet in 7 days, I will give you 30 linens and 30 change of clothes. And the men are like, bring it on, buddy. We can do this. So Samson says, what is strong and gets meat, and what is something and it's sweet? And they're like, I do not know. But they have 7 days to work on this. So, first night's done. Samson and his bride go to the bridal room area. And the men come from the village to her and say, now listen, you get the figuring of this riddle out because we can't understand it and we don't know the answer. So, okay, she says, I'll try. They said, you better try, because if you don't, we're gonna burn your house down and your father's house down, and you win it. So, she please, tell me. Now, husbands, it's okay to admit to this. We can be pretty naggy when we're really on something. And we really want it. When we really want to bring home a puppy and your husband says, no, we can't afford it. No, we don't have room for it. No. And then somebody knocks on your door days later with that puppy and you feel like an idiot. Anyhow, yes, we can be really on it when we want our way. And so was Samson's wife. And so finally he said, the honey is from the inside of the lion eats the meat. So she tells all the Philistines. And so on the evening of the 7th night, they give him the answer. And he said, I swear, hand to God, this is what it says in the Bible. If you hadn't talked to my heifer, honest, that's what it says, you never would have gotten the answer. It's in there. Look, I looked through 3 different versions that all says heifer. I'm not making it up. I couldn't make this up. So, that really ticks Samson off that they knew the answer. So, in his anger, the next day, he goes into another town and kills 300 people so that he can give those 300 Philistines their clothes. I'm pretty sure that's not what the deal was supposed to be. But again, it's God's story, not mine. So, after Samson does that, he is just so angry with his wife. He runs home to mom and dad. I am so angry with her. This is what she did. And they're like, oh, well, we understand. Told you not to marry her in the first place. Just saying. Okay, so after a while, Samson gets over it. And he goes back and he knocks on the door. I'd like to be back with my wife. And his father-in-law says, oh, sorry. I thought you were so mad at her that you'd never come back. I'd given her to another man. But you can have my daughter. And Samson's like, no. So he's really angry. And once again, he takes his anger out on the Philistines. Read the whole story if you'll like it. Okay, so he goes and he kills more people, and then this time, instead of heading back to mom and dad to hear we told you so, he goes to a rock and he lives in a cave. And the people from Philistine want to know, who have just burned up all their crops. I'm not going to tell you how that happens because we have such little ears here that it can be really scary imagery, and I don't want to put that in their head, whether they're listening or not. So read it and find out how these fields go up in flames. Thanks. Yeah, anyhow, so they're really mad. They wake up and they find all their fields, their olive trees, everything's burned to the ground. And they go to the town where they've heard that Samson's hiding out. And they said, you bring him or you kill him. And they said, because if you don't, we're going to burn you all out too. And they're like, oh, it's okay. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. Just don't burn us out. Because, you know, they're still under the rule of the Philistines. So they go to Samson and they said, look, all your tomfoolery is costing us our lives. And you've got to knock this stuff off. And because of the way you've been behaving, now we have to give you to them dead. And Samson said, okay, here's the deal. I'll let you tie me up, but don't kill me. Tie me up and take them to the Philistines and let them kill me. And they're like, Oh, that would be a good idea because then blood's not on our hands. We'll do that. Okay, so they tie him up, probably hog tie him. Off they go back down to Philistine land. And they're like, yay, we got him now. They think they have him encased in their gates, in their city, and he's going to be good. And, well, of course not. So during the night, once again, he breaks free from everything. He pulls the gates from the city with his arms, and off he goes. And this time when he goes back to another city, he meets who? Delilah. Delightful Delilah. Yes. And they marry. And the Philistines know that Samson is now with one of their women again, and they are angry. So they said to her, you tell us how he is so strong, and we'll each give you like 300 shekels of silver. And she's like, hot diggity dog, all right. So she asks Samson. Samson says, well, you know, if you just tied me up with green twigs, it would make me lose all my strength and I'd be like the other men. So Delilah's like, yes. So all the men bring her these green twigs that haven't been, you know, dried, and they tie them up, and she ties them up in the night, and then she yells, Samson, the Philistines are upon us. And he breaks free from them, and she's like, oh. So the men go back to, you better make him tell you. So she pleads some more. Oh, please stop lying to me. Tell me the truth. How are you so strong? And he says, okay, here's the truth. If you get brand new ropes that nobody's ever used, if you tie me up with them, I will be just as weak as any other man. So the men bring her new rope, and she ties him up. And she yells again that the Philistines are here, and again he breaks free. Ooh, everybody is so mad with Samson. So, you better tell. Samson says, okay, my 7 braids, if you weave them into the cloth on the loom and connect me with one pin, it will take away my powers, my strength. All right. So she made sure that Samson was well asleep. So I don't know how you weave hair into a loom, but she managed to do that. And with one pin, whatever that means, she got it in there. And then she yelled, Samson, the Philistines are here. And Samson's like, roar. And she's like, oh. And they're like, ooh. So she comes crying. She says, Samson, you gotta tell me. If you love me, you'll tell me. All right. If you shave off all my hair, I will be as weak as anyone else. So that night, she makes sure that he falls asleep on her lap. And she sends somebody in while he's sleeping on her lap to shave off all his hair. And when that man leaves, she yells in his little head right there, the Philistines are upon us and they're going to kill us, or whatever she says. And he gets up and he's like, I am no better than any other man right now, he realizes. And the Philistines cart him off, ready to kill him. And just to make sure he can't see, these are gone. They removed them. And there he lays in their prison, blind and as weak as a kitten. So they're celebrating now. They've got the great Samson. They're having a feast. What could be better than to, make fun of the man that we just have, blinded and made weak? So they call a boy and said, boy, go get Samson and bring him up here. Boy goes, gets Samson, and Samson says, now if you just lean me up by a pole so that I can stand, he said, that would be great. The little boy's like, yeah, sure, okay, whatever. And so off to the festival they go, and they get into the banquet hall, and the little boy lines them up to a post, so Samson's leaning and holding on to this one, and there's another pole, he's leaning on that one. And Samson says to himself, he says, God, kill me and kill these Philistines. Yep, okay. By now his hair has gotten long because he's been sitting in prison. And he rears up, and the pillars are broken away. The banquet hall begins to fall in on itself. And Samson dies, along with all the Philistines. The end. I know, huh? Who says the Bible's boring? So that's really nice, Pastor. Well, what's the moral of the story? Well, I guess I decided I was going to tell it to you instead of reading it. So I guess I won't read it to you now, because I told it to you. The moral of the story is, God gives us all some kind of gift that we may think is really silly. Maybe you are excellent at weed eating or lawn mowing or doing books or making cards or you can stand in the pulpit, whatever your gift is. God gave it to you so that you can use it amongst his children for him. The Lutherans have God's Work, Our Hands Day. And that's what our gifts are called to do, is to do work for God and not for ourselves. And so much of what Samson did, he did because he wanted to. He didn't care that it was a plan that he was supposed to kill all these people. That was God's plan all along. But Samson just really liked doing it. And he wasn't doing it for the glory of God. He was kind of doing it for the glory of Samson. And that's not what God calls us to do. God calls us to use our voice, whether weak or strong, whether off-key or not, to stand and sing before brothers and sisters every Sunday morning. God calls us to use our strength to ring the bells, to light the candles, to go out and to be missionaries with not being called that, but by the way you live, you are offering your life as an example of God's love. That's what we're supposed to do with those gifts. Jolene cooks like nobody's business. So she uses that gift to help us have a Tuesday church lunch. Miss Sharon makes cards, and she makes sure that cards are sent for people's birthdays and anniversaries. And, she made us that book for Bud. And you all have gifts. And so many of them, you share them with us. Sometimes reluctantly, I know. But nonetheless, you do it. And when we use those things as God intended, not only does it lift us up inside, it doesn't give us extra brownie points or anything. It lifts us up inside, but more importantly, you've lifted up God's children with the gift that you've offered. So don't make light of the things that you do. Randy does fellowship so well. So many of you were at his house on Friday.